Hein? Qu'est-ce que tu fais toi là? Tu t'es perdu ou quoi? Ça grind frère, à l'aise. T'es bon man. Quand tu veux.
3, 4, 8, again.
Ok. Cool.
Bam. Yeah, look at that. So 395 made to the show. Wow, 395 episodes. Nice. We're traveling around the world. We got me in Los Angeles, Saeed in the UK, and we got Didi. And where are you, Didi? You're in an airport right now.
I'm in Arlanda, in Stockholm,
Oh, nice.
in Sweden.
In Sweden. Well, Didi, nice to get to see you. Welcome on the show. You know, you base jump,
Thank
you do
you.
tattoos, and tell us some more about yourself.
Well, I'm 29 years old today. Actually.
Happy birthday, Didi. Let's go. Celebrating
Thank
on the
you.
podcast.
Happy
Nice.
birthday, my man.
No, it's a chill one. I'm not 30 yet, so so
Nice.
no parties tonight.
Yeah. And I don't have any tattoos. Saeed doesn't have any tattoos. I don't know, Saeed, do you? I'm not going to tell anyone if you
Not
do.
yet. Not yet. Not yet.
All right.
I mean,
Didi,
it's addictive, huh?
all right.
Yeah.
So
I can see that. It's it's like it's art. So and having a permanent art with you, it's like it's like you're always carrying a portrait with you, and it's very
Yeah,
it's a nice
I mean,
thing.
it's like a memory book. It sucks to get it, but you're really happy when it's done.
So,
Yeah, that's very true.
Tell us, a little bit about how did you I mean, you have tattoos, clearly we can see them. So do you want to tell us a bit about how you got started, and if by the end of this podcast we're like, yeah, we want to get a tattoo, that's how we've been convinced.
I mean, I was not really. I had tattoos before I started tattooing, but I got a little bit invited to it. Actually, I was living in Barcelona when I was 18, skating a lot with a German skate crew, and it was difficult to continue skating hard and on high level in Barcelona because you just partied all the time. I was like, yeah, super young at this age. I was 18, 19, and I had to leave because I wasn't serious at all. And I met this girl from Rotterdam back then that she was talking about something that's called squat, and you can live in a place without paying. And that's the thing I remembered. I took a flight to her place in Rotterdam, and one of my German mates, he found out that I was living just like 22 hours from him, and he's actually a tattooer, and he needed an apprentice, so I started living in Rotterdam in Cologne, and I was traveling in between to learn tattooing and just living for 2 years.
Oh wow. And what was your first tattoo? How about that?
I think I was 17 on a small skate trip in Barcelona. I got a cat on a skateboard that says meow. It's right here. I still have it.
Whoa, that's a cool one. That's a cool one to start off with. Nice.
It's really silly, but I still kept it because it's the first one.
Nice. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So you were pretty young learning skateboarding. I mean, skateboarding has been around for quite a bit now, but it's still like kind of new, right? So how did you get even into skateboarding?
With my mates in Sweden, actually. I grew up surfing in Indonesia, but my dad is Swedish, so we had to fly forth and back when I was younger. And then finally, when my teenage years, we stayed in Sweden quite a lot, and I started skateboarding because there's no waves here.
It's like just switching from sea to land. So yeah,
Exactly.
that makes sense. It's like was it an easy transition? Because like they seem like they are kind of similar, obviously, with the balance.
It is once you're on the board, it could be similar. It depends which board you have, but nah, it's not really that similar. I mean, like for surfing, you need to read the ocean, and the swells and the tides and currents, and when the waves get like over a meter, it gets scary. You find yourself in a washing machine. And skateboarding is more, for me, it's more chill, like in a group where you can just sit and drink beer and also not skate, but just chill.
Right. It's about the vibes and the you know, the kind of people you're around with when you're skateboarding, and the same with surfing. You know, chill dudes. I'm here in LA, and there's a lot of people that do both those things here.
Yeah.
So you know, surfing's very chill. Skateboarding
Yeah,
is
it
kind
can
of
be.
chill. It can be, yeah. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
both can be. Yeah, yeah. You can also do it like really extreme, like the guys in Portugal in Nazaré and stuff, like surfing those 20-meter waves and then halfly drown afterwards.
Oh God. I don't
I
know if
mean, you
you've
can't
seen
even surf those waves alone. You need like a jet, what's it called? A jet
Jet
ski
ski?
to save you
Yeah.
and stuff.
Oh
Oh
wow.
God.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen the movie Point Break, but it's about, I don't know if you've ever watched it.
What is it?
I've heard about it. It's like a classic, but I still never saw it actually.
Yeah,
It's
so
like
it's
bank robbers, parachutists, and surfers. No, sounds quite
yeah, so
extreme.
they're basically complete exact, like no, that is true. That's what it's all about. So it's like a bunch of bank robbers who are very like constantly being chased by the police and they've never been caught. But at the same time, they're like adrenaline junkies. So they love to surf. They also do like parachuting and all that. But mostly they surf. And then this one cop who is acted by Keanu Reeves goes undercover and then tries to, he learns surfing to join them. And the ending is just like the ending is just is beautiful because like it involves one of those massive waves, those once in a lifetime waves where it's just like over 20 meters or something like that. And I don't want to spoil it, obviously, if you guys, in case you guys watch it.
Yeah,
but
yeah, we'll watch it.
there's those waves involved that you're talking about. And you can see Keanu Reeves basically getting his ass kicked by waves all in the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, you shouldn't underestimate the ocean. Like I don't surf anything big. I just do it to chill. Like, I don't need to prove myself anything in the water. It's mostly to just be active and enjoy salt
Mhm.
water and the sun.
Yeah, but at the same time, you are also like a risk taker yourself, since you also do base jumping, and that's a pretty risky like hobby to partake in.
Yeah, you have to train yourself into it, and I mean it's mostly mental actually.
Hmm.
It's very, very, very psychological. But I mean, I'm still shit scared for every jump. Can I curse here?
Yeah,
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 yes, yes, as
don't
much
worry,
as
man.
you want. All right.
we should we should mention that from the beginning.
Yes, Didi. So you base jump pretty much, which is kind of like swimming, but it's in the air, right?
It is
Ali's
actually.
just connecting everything now.
Well, it's all making
But
sense now. It's all
more,
coming together.
I'm more comfortable in the air than I'm in the water.
Oh wow. So all right. I guess well,
Like how do you get into base jumping, man? It's just like going
Oh,
from
wow.
surfing to skateboarding and then just like, yeah, I just want to jump off buildings and bridges and
Like
nuclear plants.
like I have both my knees, they're completely broken because of too much skating, obviously. And stopped when I stopped skateboarding. I got a little bit depressed actually because you miss out like this whole crew thing and going to do some skate missions and whatnot. And I met some base jumpers like in 2000, what was it, 2008? No, 2019. Like I used to have a tattoo shop in Millau, and I didn't even know it back then, but it's like the capital of base jumping in France, like when to start, And I had like drunken base jumpers falling into my tattoo shop, wanting to get tattoos. They like lost bets and stuff, and I had to tattoo a guy, like some sort of like cheeky Jesus monkey, and like this is actually how I got into base jumping. Like they wanted me to jump, a bunch of times, but I had like vertigo and stuff. So I was like, never gonna do that, guys. But they kept on popping in after a while. You get a bit excited when you see the videos, and they're like, so Lewis, it's Lewis Jones, base jump, a UK based base jumper. Um, I proposed a little bit as a joke, but like to trade a tattoo for a jump, and he didn't hesitate for a second. And then I felt seasick. But this time it was summer of 2019. The conditions were not good for someone that had no experience. Like I had no skydives, no experience in paragliding or anything like that. I've always been on the ground or in water. And in February 2020, he just popped up at my house, and he hasn't forgotten it. And he said, "You're still gonna jump." So I had to prepare myself mentally. And I think like 3 hours before the actual jump, he just told me like briefly how it works. Like you take the toggles, you go to the left, you go to the right when you pull this. Once you are leveled with the trees, you put your toggles up over your head, and when you can kick somebody in the face, you just pull the toggles towards your crotch, and then you break, and then you land. And that was basically what I had to learn. And he asked me as well, just for jumping, so what do you want to jump? Because as a beginner, you jump only bridges. Because if you have an off heading, you're still safe. You don't hit anything, you don't hit the object. And I didn't know what to jump, so I just asked him, what do you want to jump? Because you have the two choices. You can jump the small bridge, 140 meters, which is more chill. You can walk on it and take your time and breathe out. And when you're ready, you just take a leap of faith. Or he said, we jump a big bridge. It's safer because it's higher. You're going to have more air time, but you will have to climb an upside down suicide barrier, but it's not big. And I said yes to that, which was super stressful. But yeah, I jumped. And I remember I was wearing this like down jacket, and there's like screws popping out of the suicide barrier. I just cut the down jacket, and it was like feathers flying around. And I was looking down, and you have like 240 meters of emptiness. And I was, wow, I was so shit scared. And I took a leap, went to the left, went to the right, went a little bit left again, got so shit scared, I just flew straight. I flew over the landing area and landed in somebody's garden. And I was like, and he told me like, once you land, you don't touch anything. And it's sort of tolerated, but it's still illegal here. So I just stood there because I'd landed so far away from him. He had to run across the whole landing field to get me because he told me not to touch anything. I just stood there like a total idiot in a bush.
Trying to hide, in the bush with the parachute just like sticking out all over the place.
But I mean, like, apparently I was the first guy ever to jump the viaduct du Millau without any experience. I don't know if that's stupid or not, but it was fun at least.
I mean, that's something for the records, then that you can always say, like, I've done this and no one else has.
Yeah, but now we try it with other people, and it really works. But with the other guys, the newer guys that we tried it on that didn't have any experience, we put headphones on them, earplugs, and a helmet, so we could speak to them in the air, and that works much better.
Oh,
I didn't have that.
Right.
you just jump, whatever, without any caution in there. Just like,
I mean, I remember what he told me before. I can sort of control myself in some stressful situation. But I actually blacked out. When I landed afterwards, I forgot what I did with all the fear and stuff, and I was buzzing for days after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the feeling like after you land that?
Like your legs are like super shaky. You feel the endorphins. I mean, you're just like you're super happy to be alive. It's amazing.
It's like you
Like you
remind yourself,
appreciate
it's
it.
like, oh wait, I'm still, I have to, I still have to live.
Yeah,
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 exactly.
for sure.
Like
No,
yeah.
for sure, it took away the depression of not skating,
Wow.
and it's less painful as well. Like
It
Yeah.
it's
doesn't,
less painful than skating.
is it really? Because like, doesn't it affect your knees as well? Because like, you have
I
to land
mean,
with your legs and there's like a strong impact on landing.
it depends. When I jump urban areas like buildings and stuff where I have to land on the street, I wear I wear knee braces just in case and
Yeah.
bigger shoes. And when I jump off cliffs or bridges, whatever, where I can land on some grass, I'll just jump with normal shoes or some boots.
Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's soft. I mean, the landing is much more softer than landing on a skateboard.
Right.
Like you always land on concrete, hard,
Mhm.
and
And
that
all
sucks.
yeah, all these skateboarders have like damaged knees now that they're older, and it's like, I mean, it really does take a toll on you.
Sure.
It really is wild. So, I mean, in terms of like base jumping, so skateboarding does have that psychological factor, right? You just have to believe and like visualize it and then be able to pull off the trick.
It's the same with
Um,
base jumping.
you think it's the same with base jumping? So how, like, you've done both? How do you compare the mental factor of both?
I mean, some stuff is super scary as well. If you jump like big stairs, you have to visualize it as well, your movement. And if you fuck up, you have the plan B, how to land, how to prepare yourself for impact. But for some maneuvers, I do the same kind of thing. Like I try to see what other people have been doing, see how they move in the air, and you basically copy that. Except when you invent stuff, then you're really fucked. Then you have to just calculate it in your head.
And
So
have you invented stuff and base jumping, like done things that no one's done before?
I mean, we did some combos that other people haven't done yet. We weren't really sure if it worked or not, and then you're really scared. And then you ask like older base jumpers, like, do you think this works? And I'm like, it should work, but you guys have to try. It's like, you're like,
So wait, so when you mention combos, what do you mean by combos?
like I did with a really good friend of mine, Gauthier Bourgard. He's like a amazing cliff jumper and base jumper, probably the best dude in France making aerials. We had this drunken idea when I came back from a trip
Best way
to
to
do like,
brainstorm.
yeah, we were like us together sometimes when we have a party, we're like having shit of bad ideas. And then when we do some stupid bets, we try to go through them. But we had this idea of doing a static backflip. So like basically you backflip with your parachute attached to the object, so it opens by automatically. So we wanted to do a backflip Mr. Bill. And a Mr. Bill is when you jump with your friend, you hold his harness, you jump, open first parachute, you glide a bit, and then you toss him off. But we wanted to do this with a flip, and never been done, so we were super scared. It worked perfectly. And then later we tried to add to this, me and Lewis, one of my mentors. We wanted to add a backflip Mr. Bill, the static backflip into Mr. Bill downplane. So basically, we have to static backflip. I'm gonna keep on holding his harness. He folds down backwards,
Oh wow.
pitches his parachute while I'm holding him. So we spin down to earth with two parachutes open.
Whoa.
It's halfly worked. I was holding him, and my parachute was a little bit twisted behind my head. And I said, I think it's gonna work. And he's like, let me go, let me go, let me go. I was like, are you sure? Let me go, let me go. I just had to let him go. And it was just about to work. So it was a bit bummed, but I hope we're gonna try to do it again.
Yeah, you
It should
should.
work.
And film it. I want to watch it. Yeah, exactly. That
Yeah,
sounds pretty cool. Go for it.
Yeah, we have a drone doing filming for us, so it's fun.
That is really sick.
So you were mentioning also for newbies that you guys now put helmets and like earbuds for them so that they can hear you.
Yeah.
So do you just like generally recruit new people to train with you, or like do they come and seek you
mean,
guys out, or how's the
No,
process?
I don't recruit anyone. Like, my two mentors are Maurice Mailleux, an ex-military, and Lewis Jones, also an ex-military
Mhm.
guy, and they train people, and they often invite me to go jump with them during these training times, and I keep an eye on some students as well. But me myself, I don't train people. I don't want this responsibility, and it's too much. I already have enough to keep myself safe. So.
Yeah. Because like for the training part, whenever I meet like paragliders or people who just have any training with parachutes, it's
Mhm.
mainly people who are like pilots or military, or who have done something that's it was part of their job, as in
Yeah, very often it's
they had formal training with like with a specific organization. But usually but base jumpers, the ones that they don't have that training, how do they just get how do they get so
I mean,
how is it so easy to do it? It doesn't, because like you make it sound easy, the first time you did it.
you do need actual training, but I actually asked Lewis, like, why did you make me jump? Like, he trusted me. Of course I'm gonna jump. And he told me that, like, because you did so many other sports before, I think you're mentally strong for it, and you have balance. He said, like, jumping is all about balance.
Yeah.
I mean, but normally when before starting base jumping, you need approximately 200 skydives, like 200 jumps of an airplane, just to have canopy time, to learn how to fly your canopy and all of this.
Mhm.
It works without, but it's better to have it actually.
How many have you had, Didi? So
Uh, I had zero. I had nothing.
Like nothing, man. It's like it's like, oh, okay, let's take on a new hobby that might kill me. Why not?
Apparently, I needed it at that moment, and I still
Yeah.
need it. So,
Do you think
but
do you think it saved you?
it can be safe.
No, like it
can-
saved you as
what?
like personally, on a personal level.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
I mean, like, for a while, I got so addicted to it. Like certainly during Corona, like it didn't work, so I just did that. And basically, he actually warned me, Lewis, like, be careful with base jumping because it can ruin your career and it can ruin your relationship. And it almost did both. No, it actually ruined my relationship, but I almost stopped tattooing fully because I base jumped so much.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
But
Well,
I'm getting back.
How is it affecting your tattooing?
I mean, like when I was living in Neo, sometimes I woke up super early to do like sunrise jumps, and I did like maybe 2 or 3 jumps before work, and then you're tired, so you do a little siesta before working, and then you tattoo quickly, and then you go jumping again. Or sometimes I just I'm super late for the appointments, or I just didn't work at all, or whatever,
Yeah.
And it sort of blocks you in work, because still tattooing is basically what I do. Like, this base jumping is still something I do on the side.
And how are you able to balance them out? How are you able to
I mean,
stay?
I didn't before. I guess something clicked in my head when I broke up with my ex-girlfriend, and then I understood sort of that shit, I need to get my life back together, and now I have a better balance in jumping and all of this. Because before I used to get like even a bit like annoyed if I didn't jump, but it's not that important.
Yeah. No, that's a great redemption story for yourself, mentally as well. Because like,
Yeah,
it's like when someone deals with a drug addiction. It's a similar concept mentally, I would say.
Yeah.
Because like you can if someone has an addictive personality or like they get attached to something, it gets really hard to just get rid of it, obviously.
Yeah, for
And,
sure.
and then the fact that you're able to get over it, I mean, that's definitely an accomplishment in my eyes, I would say. So
Yeah,
great job, man. Great job, really.
like you can also see where that addictive part is. Like I have almost 450 jumps in 2 years.
Wow. 450 jumps,
50
man.
jumps.
It's like
Yeah.
it's what
Yeah.
a year and a half, almost a year
Yeah,
and a half
exactly.
of just like
So-
full jumping, like every day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Wow.
like all the time. Like
Well,
when I was living in Neo, I went jumping
right.
all the time.
Uh-huh.
Now I jump
Mhm.
occasionally, but from different kind of objects, which is really fun.
Mhm.
When you jump different objects from bridges, you can relax a bit more. You can try more things, but when you jump a building or some other funny object, you need to be a little bit more cautious.
I see. And that's how you keep it fresh, pretty much. Like, you know, you've done 450, but you still love doing it because you're trying all these different places and all these different
Yeah, for sure.
obstacles and stuff. Oh, wow.
Mm.
I mean, you know, it sounds ridiculous to do 450 in the past 2 years, but if you think about it, we've been in lockdown for, you know, a year and a half. So it just makes sense that, oh, what am I going to do other than
Yeah.
just jump all the time, right? Like, how'd the pandemic
Basically.
affect you?
I mean, in the beginning, I was really relieved because before base jumping, all this, I was working a lot, like all the time. So during the first confinement, I used to have like a little house outside of Neo, like 5 kilometers from Neo, next to the big bridge. And I wasn't even base jumping then yet, you know. And I was on the it's basically the countryside. So
Mhm.
there was no cops and all of this. So
Oh
I was
God,
super
it's like
happy with it.
it's the perfect setup for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. So no, the first confinement was super nice actually, and then afterwards it started becoming really annoying because they had to shut down the tattoo shop all the time. So I basically I took off to Sweden where there was no confinement, you could still work and all of this. So went for like 6 months in Sweden. I ditched France and I went jumping and working in Sweden until the confinement stopped in
Mhm.
South Europe.
Pretty much.
So-
Yeah. And
So
then
no, Corona was totally fine for me actually. I was like annoying my friends and stuff. Like I posted some stories. I'm sitting in a bar or in a restaurant and pissing some friends off at home. In France.
Oh my God, Didi.
Fucker.
Oh man, well, yeah, Corona is really, you know, it was a wild time. I want to ask you, Didi, you've done 450 jumps. Do you remember one as like the best jump you've done?
I mean, I have a bunch of them. But it's maybe my first building. My first building I did was in Stockholm in winter with Doug Peace and another English guy, Sean Nolan. And Sean Nolan wasn't current, so it took like an automatic opening. But I just passed 100 jumps, I think, and it wasn't even my first year of base. And basically, me and Doug, we scouted this building in Stockholm, 110 meters. What is that in feet? I don't know feet.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, 110 meters, and we scouted this building, and it was in winter, so it's cold in Stockholm and all of this. And I remember that once we got up, we went behind like an Uber guy or something to get inside the building, and then they were still rebuilding it a little bit up on the roof, so we could get an access out. And basically, you had to climb this ladder and walk like it was like imagine like a P-shaped wall that is like 4 meters. If you look down to the left, you have 4 meters into somebody's terrace. And if you look to the right, you have like 110 meters in the night. And it's a little bit of snow on the exit as well. So I had to walk on this like in a P to get to the exit. It was super uncomfortable. You have nothing to hold on to, and wow, it was super scary. So on my first building, it was really funny because I'm still a new jumper, you know, and I sent a backflip on my
Nice.
first building.
How cool.
A lot of training from Neo got me into that position where I actually felt that it would be more safe for me to do a backflip, because when you jump flat, now I'm used to jump flat, because before actually I was scared of jumping flat, because you jump out, you see the ground, you immediately want to pitch because it's scary to see the ground, especially for a long. And I thought in my head, which is actually quite silly, but if I do a flip, you know, you jump, you relax, you wait for your body to turn around, you have this window of the pitch, you pitch, and your parachute opens. And in my head, I calculated if I do a gainer, it's a backflip where you jump forward and then do a backflip, I would respect the delay of at least having 2-second delay stowed when you pull your parachute yourself. This creates like a perfect on-heading opening. So, and it worked. I jumped off, did my backflip, twist. That was the second thing. Like, because I opened lower than the other guys, I couldn't get to the normal landing area, so I had to synchronize my jump with the traffic downstairs. So when it was green on one side, I could jump, so the other street where I would land wouldn't be full of cars. So yeah. So I did my backflip, helicopter the parachute around, and landed on the street, and then I ran away.
Just like running around. A guy just comes out of nowhere, you know.
You're
Yeah,
driving
and
and
there
then
was some
someone lands. That's wild.
Yeah, there was some people like seeing us, like, what the fuck? Where did he come from?
I don't know how I'd react if I see someone just flying in from my roof, you know, and just like runs away with a parachute in his arms. Like, what kind of reaction can you have?
I mean, most people there, they don't really care. They're like,
Right.
huh? Oh, okay. And then, I mean, it's a bit rare, I guess.
Mhm.
So I'm not really sure. Most people are quite accepted of it.
Yeah.
We're not that many base jumpers, so it's rare to see people falling off roofs and stuff, I guess,
Mhm.
with
I
parachutes.
mean, yeah, like if you had a larger population jumping off buildings and bridges and stuff, I think more people will get annoyed from it, I guess.
Yeah, but also like most people think of, when they think of base jumping, is the squirrel suit, you know, the wingsuit. Oh, you base
Yeah.
jump, so you do this suit. No, but
That's not it.
no.
No.
That's not it. Wow. I mean, that sounds like a really thrilling jump. And that sounds like a good #1 base jump to me. So you described it as really scary and really
Like
so
really, really scary.
a lot of people I know, when they're scared of something, they don't do it. So how do you get past that? Like, actually, like, how do you in your head be like, okay, this is terrifying. You must feel it. Like, you must feel the anxiety, right, in you.
Yeah, for sure. Still,
and the nerves. So how do you beat fear?
I mean, I don't meditate, so I can't really say that. But I mean, you have to, at some point. I mean, maybe this is meditation for me, but at some point you just find the emptiness of your own mind. You focus, and you already have this idea blocked. You know, your moves in the air. If something goes wrong and all of this, it's all in your head. And at some point, just before jumping, it's completely calm in your head, and you just go for it.
Wow.
It's difficult to explain. Like,
Yeah, no, I
you just have to
can't.
do it. You should come to France and show
Just
you
All
do
right.
some of Brazil.
just
It's
do
more
it.
of an experience thing than like something you can
Right.
teach, right?
You can put into words, yeah.
Yeah, like yeah, I'm not really sure. It's really, you have to. I've seen people walking away from jumps, you know, and it's just, sometimes it's just too difficult,
So
and
you said,
sometimes the weather is not good either. So
yeah, of
Mm.
course. I mean, that definitely affects your landing as well, and like
yeah,
the whole ride. So you said you also
affects everything.
Yeah.
Even before the jump, like if it's too windy and you stand there, should I go? Should I stay or should I go? Or I don't know. Like sometimes you just have to like let the ego aside and just walk down. And
Yeah, of course.
if
Because like
you're
your
lucky, you
life
have
is
an
more
elevator.
important.
Oh wow.
Yeah, for sure.
So you were telling us about like, you know, you scout buildings as well before you jump. And
Mm.
the first building that you jumped from was like 110 meters
Yeah.
high. What is usually the cutoff for jumping, and like how do you, and what are the things you look for when you're scouting a jump?
You want to find like a nice landing area, obviously, without any power lines and mild security. You also don't want like I mean, it depends on yourself as well, you know, like you don't want to do some high risk buildings or some crazy police building or whatever, you know. Maybe it's like you're tempted, but you just don't touch some stuff, you know. But what you look for, yeah, as many safety points as possible.
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, like
Okay.
you in the end, you want to jump again, so it's not worth it to like, but this building is really nice, but the landing area is like the size of a car. You know, you have more chance of like fucking up your legs or your back. So when you calculate it in the end, you know, it's just not worth it.
Mhm.
So it depends on the spot,
So
definitely.
for you, have you ever like walked out from doing a jump, like being like you're gonna do it, you're over there about to do it, and you're like, oh, this is not a smart idea, or is it more for
Yeah,
you
bunch
like
of time.
calculate? Oh, you have done that.
Yeah. In the beginning, a little bit less, because like when you in the beginning, you're like you're quite retarded, you know. And you're like, you just want to jump and you just want to send it, but it's really stupid. But now I'm much more cautious and I don't actually have a problem walking away from my jump now. But yeah, it happened a few times, mostly because of wind.
Mhm.
Like when there's too much wind, you either gonna have weird stuff happening with the parachute at opening. You can have off headings or turbulences under canopy, and I mean, what if you get like a big gust at the landing? You're gonna hurt yourself. So
Right.
it's just, I mean, the objects are not gonna move,
Mhm.
so
I
you
mean,
can always come back.
yeah, that's true, I guess, right? I mean, it seems like you've gotten wiser with it over time, right? Like you started off, it was just like you getting into it, you're really into it, and now you're doing it in a more like
For sure.
calmer way or a more calculated way, right? Like how would you describe
Yeah.
the feeling you got from the beginning versus now?
I mean, in the beginning, I just wanted to be like a base machine, just to have as many jumps as possible and do as many of crazy shit as possible. But now, I mean, I still do some quite stupid stuff, but uh, I guess now I do more calculated and basically I don't jump every day now since I live on the coast.
Mhm.
But when I do jump, like I still don't get. It depends on which object it is. If I jumped it a bunch of times, I obviously don't get a buzz from it, but it's still super enjoyable because I brought a friend, to one of my own spots and all of this. But yeah,
Yeah.
It sounds like you basically in your first 2 years that you were doing the consistent base jumping, you just like you got it all out, and it was, I don't like using this term like it was a phase, but it's more of like it was a phase in your life where you needed it. That's
I
how I'll
think so
describe
too.
it. And
Yeah,
usually obviously like from what I noticed for myself as well, I get these phases in my life where I try something new and I really like it. And then like after maybe a few months maximum or like a year or something, I'm like, yeah, I'm not that interested in this. So I want to try something new.
Mm.
So maybe I feel like for base jumping, it also probably has like a short, what's the word? Career span, maybe. So you seem like maybe you're closer to retirement.
No. If I find a window of a jump, like
Yeah.
especially here in Sweden, for example, it's not these perfect days without winds
Mhm.
all the time. If I have that, I'm definitely going jumping. I can push if it's a tattoo that is not so interesting, it's a bit mean, but I can push it a little bit just to have the jump. But it depends definitely on the object and the people I jump with. But
Mhm.
no, I'm still on fire.
Yeah, let's go. That's what I want to hear. I'm like, you retire, man. I'm like, come on, dude. He's getting good, right? It's like,
Yeah, now it's getting interesting.
yeah.
Now it's like really, really, really nice object hunting. Like I'd love to jump like a Ferris wheel and
Mhm.
all kinds of stuff.
So would you say that the jumps that you're making now, the ones that you're being selective about, are more exciting than the ones that you had in the beginning?
I think so. I mean, still in the
Okay.
beginning, when started jumping here in Sweden, I didn't have my mentors jumping with me, so I was with another friend, and me and Dougie, we went to open it's called opening when you jump a new object and stuff. So we jumped a bunch of wind turbines, and we jumped like the highest church of Sweden, and yeah, like these little doors open up, but when you don't have your mentors and all this, you have to calculate everything yourself.
Mhm.
How do I access? We measure stuff with a rangefinder, so we can calculate the height, the length to the landing area, and like that we can calculate if the jump is doable, or I mean, like if you can do a trick off of it as well. From low height, you can't really do any tricks. You have an automatic opening, a static line, or a PCA, and then higher jumps you can throw in some aerials and whatnot if you're feeling hot.
Doing some combos, yeah.
Yeah.
We are kind of almost running out of time, so I just want to get to
All
ask
right.
you, what advice do you have if someone wants to start base jumping?
Advice, yeah, you should do some paragliding or at least some skydiving before.
Mhm.
I know I didn't. I mean, like in the beginning, I just jump automatic, like static line, or somebody pulled out my parachute, and I was like working hard on learning the canopy skills, because basically you're more under canopy than you are falling, and you need to get the reactions. You really need to get your reactions working. So when the shitstorm happens and you have the 180 or other crazy stuff, you're gonna pull yourself out of it.
Mhm.
And also, if you want to start, yeah, you should contact Momo or Lewis Jones.
All right, we'll look for him.
Yeah.
Saeed, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up here?
No, I think
I mean,
I think
I
I've
thought you were talking to me. Sorry.
Our friend Saeed.
No, I think I've learned quite a bit about base jumping, and
Yeah,
to
me
be
too.
honest, man, I've done paragliding a couple of times, but obviously with someone strapped to my back. Almost died once because of it,
You didn't?
because the parachute like one of the ropes ripped off and just folded
Really?
onto itself. Yeah,
Oh,
and
fuck.
we were pretty close to the side of the mountain, so we had to throw up an emergency chute, and we're like I'm kind of a heavy guy, and he's like the same weight as me, so
Whoa.
we were close to the threshold of like max weight. So and like the last
Wow,
second he
that
opens
scares you,
the
dude.
yeah, like the drop was maybe like less than 50 meters, I don't know, just open the emergency chute and just like smash into the side of the mountain.
Wow, you didn't hurt yourself too bad.
Luckily not. No, it's just like obviously the impact was heavy. I like my ass went up my mouth, basically. That's how like
Nice.
I felt like my spine being compressed or something like that.
Ah,
Holy
yeah.
But obviously I'm alive, so that's good.
And
The walk back was terrible though.
and do you want to redo it?
Fuck yeah, man. They asked me, it's like, do you want to do it now? I was like, let me catch my breath because I could just climb the side of the mountain. bro, at one point I was dying climbing up the side of the mountain because like it became like a steep climb, and I'm like, I haven't drank any water. I'm hungry and nothing, you know, and I couldn't climb anymore at one point. So literally, two guys had to like carry me onto their shoulders and drag me as they're climbing bare hands up the side of the mountain on the grass, like goats. I don't know, like it's fucking crazy. But yeah, and then once we got to the top, I just landed on the ground. It's like, oh fuck this.
But then you really, when you get this big buzz, you really appreciate life, and you want to do it again.
Yes, exactly. No, I'll definitely do it again. Like everyone kept asking me, is like in the end, like, do you want to do it again? I'm like, yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's what he's saying. You come to appreciate life more, like after what he went through.
Yeah.
I wanna.
I mean, that's super sketchy, dude. You should have aimed for the bush.
we did, but there's like bushes on the side of the mountain, so it's like, he's like, I'm gonna aim for the trees. He missed the trees, hit the bush. I'm like, okay.
Like before, sometimes when you jump in nature and stuff, like you spot at the landing. Okay, you look around, you choose the kind trees and the kind bushes.
Yeah.
The ones without thorns.
Yes, exactly.
In case of emergency, you aim for that because that is softer than the ground.
That's true. That's true.
Good. Wow, we've come to learn a lot. Actually, this is all like it feels very new to me. Like I'm very familiar with surfing. I'm very familiar with skating, but this kind of sport, base jumping, sounds like something
amazing.
It sounds really cool, and I'm just curious because like I'm a filmmaker and I know a lot about like skateboarding was a sport, but then when people start filming it and then the video games came out and stuff like that, that's when it went to a whole different level. And the same thing with surfing, right? Surfing was just a sport. It was a casual sport people did, and then people started filming the crazy tricks, and then there are games coming in, and then it went to a whole different level. So I don't know. What do you think about the future of like base jumping and the future of yourself? Like,
I mean, there's more and more
coming?
people base jumping, but I mean, it's such a special hobby, there is more jumpers popping up nowadays because back in the days, like apparently there were no base schools and all of this. You had to get into this environment and you had to be a little bit invited and people checked you out, and like before the internet you had to. It was difficult, but now with the base schools and stuff, you can get into it easier. But I don't think it's gonna be that successful as skateboarding or surfing. It's not that accessible still, and it costs a lot of money actually. Even though you think that like, okay, I don't want to skydive and I'm gonna just base jump because once I have my gear it's for free, but it's not. You're gonna spend I don't know how many euros to get to that area to do your jump and all of this calculated to it, so it can be an expensive hobby.
I see. Well, that's
and if you have a skateboard, you just can go on the street and
Yeah, that's true.
Fair. No, that's true. Well, I mean, I hope I get to see more it filmed better. You know what I mean? Like maybe next time we do a cool jump, try to find some cool camera people that are able to capture. You say you have drones coming in now. That sounds so cool. Like if you can get a drone getting you doing that jump, oh my God. And like with people on the ground with cameras, it could look like so scenic and beautiful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. It's just some objects we can't really show that we jump because then we can never jump them again.
Fair. I didn't think about that. Well, maybe one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Until then, hey Didi, how cool is it to get to talk to you and learn about all this stuff? And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was great having you on the Didi, and it's like, thank you for the new knowledge about this hobby that I didn't think I might be interested in.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Didi, for your time. This is how we sign out. Squared, the show, the most international podcast. Didi, safe travels and happy birthday. All right.
Thank you.
Adios.
Until next time.